We're going to talk about a bullet mold. Since I've gotten into the black powder and cap and ball revolvers, we're going to talk about this product, the Richmond Laboratory 36 caliber revolver bullet by Era's Gone Bullet Molds. There's a gentleman, and he does have a channel, Era's Gone Bullet Molds. Specifically, he's into the Civil War period. He's a collector, and he goes out and shoots a lot of the Civil War era guns, replicas and that, actively, okay? And what he did is he went and found at archaeological sites actual bullets. He collects the actual different bullets, and he found an example of this bullet and had Lee make molds to produce this bullet. And I've heard a lot about it, going around looking at it. He has several other bullets on his website for cap and ball revolvers, and I believe the Smith carbine, and there's another rifle bullet he also has made. But I got this little bullet because it's neat, and we'll take a look at what we dropped out here and what we're going to do. And the 36 caliber gun is the copy I have of the Colt 1851 Navy. This one is by Pieta, and this is one I bought recently, okay? And we'll discuss the gun and if you have to modify it or not. Because now the newer versions of these guns from these companies, and only two left now, that's another thing. If you go to this guy's website or his channel and look up that, he does things on comparing replicas, some that are no longer manufactured. Companies don't make them. So out of your two choices today, if you wanted to go buy one now, it's either Uberti or Pieta. Okay. But I got a Pieta. So let's take a look at the bullet and see what we got. Alright, when I got this mold, I degreased it. I lightly smoked it with a match, and I got it up to temp. I dipped the corner of the mold block in the molten lead in the pot, and this thing just started cranking out bullets right from the beginning. Beautiful mold, okay? And what it produces is this unusual bullet. That's what it looks like standing up there. Here's a side profile. Now it has this long base. Now this base does two things. A, it seats down into the cylinder, drops down in there, and also it gives you an area to attach a paper cartridge, which we will kind of get into. I talked about that already. But if you notice, it has this point on there, this conical point. And also, this thing does, it says on the box, 390 is the diameter, which 375 thousandths is a standard ball that goes in there, and that cuts a ring, and this is 390. So what that is going to do is when you press this down into your cylinder, it's going to give you a wider bearing surface than a standard ball. Okay, but the increased length is also going to limit your cartridge or your cylinder capacity. Now some people have tested this. It has real good penetrating power over everything. It's accurate because you're forcing a larger bullet down in there and getting more of a bearing surface, engaging the rifling in your barrel. So that's why I kind of got this. I'd like to, eventually I'll make paper cartridges with it. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to do a separate video where I lube it. I'll show you how I'm going to lube them. And then we're just going to put the bullets with the powder and the revolver at first, loose, load them loose, and get it done. One thing you must remember, the guy that developed this says you must use pure lead, okay? Because you are putting a larger bullet down in there, all right? And it's gonna really, it takes people who've used it said you take a little bit more pressure and you cut a larger ring of lead off of it. So no wheel weights or something close, you're gonna have to try to get really good soft pure lead to make this bullet. All right, so now conical bullets really might not fit in some replica guns that really weren't made for it. It's just a manufacturing step, the area there. So let's look at the gun and discuss this and see if that is going to be a problem or I need a modification to the gun. Now, like I said, some replica guns, they don't really do, they don't, as compared to originals, make this area wider for a conical bullet. But looking at this gun, you see there's this chamfer here that's been cut in there. I believe the company realizes people want this and they've made the this area larger. Okay, they've modified it. And if you can see where it goes to the other side, that groove is cut out. You can see there's in the back there. So they've enlarged this a lot. And that's the way it came. And like I said, this is a more recently manufactured firearm. So now we'll see if we can get the bullet to drop in there and swing around. And also, I have the loading lever out because I had to modify that. But the loading lever is above this. It doesn't hang down below, too low, which is a problem with some guns. Alright, so we have our revolver set up here. And we're going to take one of these bullets and see if we can get it to drop down in the cylinder. You'd have to kind of turn this there. And that's how it goes down into the cylinder. Try to zoom in a little. Like that. So you see it fits in there. And yes, we can rotate it. There's plenty of room. A little close down there, but plenty of room to go in. Okay? So as is, we don't have to modify this area here on this gun. So that's great. But what I found with the loading ram here is this is set up for a ball. Now the Duelist 1954, what he would do is he would take this piece, the ram, out of the gun and order one from Uberti that is machined to where it won't crush, because with that round thing in there, it's going to crush the tip of that bullet and blunt it. Okay, I don't want to do that. I spent all the money to buy the specialty bullet mold, so I want my ram not to crush the tip of the bullet. So what I did is I chucked this up in the lathe, and I went and I took a center drill and I cut a concave in there, like a little angle, and hopefully just deepened it other than the round ball, so that this, when it goes in, I'm trying to show you, I got it to where when that goes in there, see, it won't crush that point on there. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to take the gun apart, get this back together again, then I'm going to push one of these down into the cylinder and see if it crushes that nose, and we'll take a look at it as it's loaded. I'm going to do it with no powder. Alright, what we're going to do is put one of these in there. And this thing likes to give me a hard time. Okay, got it in there. Gonna spin it around. Line up our loading lever with it. And there is no powder charge in there. We're just gonna give this a crunch down in there. Oh yeah. This does take some pressure. There. Now, we're going to look at the ring and look at the bullet here. And I'm going to take the bullet out and do is get the ring out of there first. Just like we did with loading a bullet with no, that's a substantial ring of lead. Yeah, that's the ring of lead that come out of there. Pretty heavy. All right, we'll get the bullet out and take a look at it. Okay, here's the slug after it has gone through. And you see the bearing surface on that is almost the whole length of the bullet. There they are side by side. Okay, so what this is doing is this is creating, like the one guy said, almost a wad cutter. Okay, this bullet's getting formed into basically a huge bearing surface on there, which I think adds to the velocity. This bullet is gonna perform way better than a round ball. Now, we can go and try to see how this looks when it engages the throat of the barrel. And as you see, it goes in there, and that's going to engage that whole surface, that area there, to the collar. So this bullet's going to perform, I guess, well. That's why it's performing exceptionally well. And what I wanted to see is how my machining of the thing did. I still got a point on there. You can see some of the chamfer where it started to bear down compared to the bullet here. So for right now, I'm going to leave that alone. Some people don't modify it. I know even the balls get deformed with that. And this also, I measured it. The overall length has been compressed about 15 thousandths. And that is the ring of lead that come off. It's pretty hefty, you know, so when you're loading these, keep an eye on that and clear them out of the gun, because that can fall into the action and be a jam. But that's basically what she looks like when I compress it down. I still got a point on there. You know, that lead came up. I might open that up more to try to get it. I may remachine that, but for now, that's what we're going to get. So that's it, man. That's what it looks like, and this is the reason why it's got more penetrating power and accuracy, is that bearing surface from this bullet is going to be way greater than that of a round ball. A round ball might be not even quite half of that. So that's the bullet mold. Hopefully we'll try to get out next week and see how it shoots, how accurate it is. Something kind of interesting. So stay tuned, fellas.